Madam Chairwoman, the General Services Administration has become a bit of a frequent flyer with this committee in the worst kind of way. GSA has hardly covered itself in glory on issues ranging from the highly flawed decision on a new FBI headquarters to the old post office lease agreement to ascertainment of the winner of the 2020 presidential election to login.gov to the FBI headquarters again. GSA has repeatedly made misrepresentations to this Congress, sidestepped agency policy and the Constitution itself, and disregarded both the letter and spirit of the law. In 2018, I requested that GSA's own Office of Inspector General review GSA's revised plan for the Federal Bureau of Investigation's headquarters consolidation. The GSA OIG's review found that then Administrator of GSA, Emily Murphy, misled Congress while under oath when she attempted to conceal her meetings with then President Trump regarding the FBI headquarters and the decision to move it to the suburbs rather than stay in downtown Washington, D.C. Donald Trump is a self-interested businessman when it comes to the location of the FBI, or was at that time. And a president to the American people ought not to be involved in contract negotiations or in deciding to pull the award of a contract for a new headquarters for a major agency of the federal government. He wanted to prevent the construction of a rival hotel, potentially, on a now commercially developed FBI site downtown. GSA had already faced congressional inquiries as to how Donald Trump won the rights to convert the old post office into the Trump International Hotel. The Trump Organization signed a lease with GSA that said, quote, "No elected official of the government shall be admitted to any share or part of this lease or to any benefit that may arise therefrom." In the words of GSA's OIG again, former President Trump's continued interest in the hotel was a possible violation of the Foreign Emoluments Clause of the Constitution. And in putting on the question, GSA ignored the Constitution. The committee tried to perform further oversight, but GSA rebuffed all requests. As the oversight Democrats found in their recent investigation, Donald Trump then collected millions of dollars from foreign governments at the Trump International Hotel under a GSA lease while he was the president, in violation of the Emoluments Clause of the U.S. Constitution. In 2020, after President Biden won the presidential election, then Administrator Murphy ignored the law and refused to issue a letter of ascertainment for 16 full days. When Administrator Murphy finally issued the letter, she broke with precedent by refusing to call the clear victor, President-elect Biden. While the letter fulfilled her duty technically, its content exposed her egregiously false belief that President Biden did not win the election, further fueling Donald Trump's harmful election lies and helping lay the groundwork for the violent January 6th insurrection. No less than a year ago, the GSA OIG found that GSA officials misrepresented login.gov's compliance with federal digital identity standards. GSA then billed agencies more than $10 million for services that failed to meet required security and privacy standards. While login.gov has since worked to remediate these issues, GSA's noncompliance and its officials' misleading actions eroded the trust between the agency, the federal government, and the people we all serve. This past fall, GSA announced its decision to select Greenbelt, Maryland as the site for the new FBI headquarters amid an overwhelming amount of evidence indicating that GSA's own site selection process was followed by political interference. GSA first changed the weighting of the original site selection criteria over FBI Director Gray's objections, and he's the client here. Then they changed the individual tasked with confirming the final site selection from a career official to a political appointee. Finally, that same political appointee overturned the unanimous decision from a panel of career officials and then promptly left the agency after the damage she inflicted. You don't have to just take my word for it. The FBI Director, Christopher Wray, in an email to his colleagues, wrote, quote, "We have concerns about the fairness and transparency in the process and GSA's failure to adhere to its own site selection plan," and stated that the FBI identified concerns about a potential conflict of interest involving the site selection authority and whether changes that individual made in the final stage of the process adhered to the site selection criteria. And of course, we know she didn't, because she went in and changed the weight, the final weight, unanimously provided by that site selection committee of professionals, 2 from GSA, 1 from the FBI, in every category. And it just so happened every category she changed was changed in the direction of Maryland at the expense of Virginia, despite the professional findings of the site selection panel. Despite these controversies, I want to acknowledge the leaders at GSA's Office of Chief Information Office for their tireless work on IT modernization and procurement efforts. The Office of the CIO has been engaged as a partner in improving the digital experience of the federal government, and we applaud that. They deserve credit for managing the effectiveness of more than $800 million in 51 different transformative IT investments across 29 federal agencies through the administration of the Technology Modernization Fund. GSA also spearheaded implementation of the FedRAMP Authorization Act. The legislation, which I championed into enactment last Congress, enforces a standardized approach to security assessments and authorizations for cloud computing products and services to better safeguard sensitive data and systems. Unfortunately, the GSA's OIG's report, that is the focus of today's hearing, provides yet another instance in which GSA did not follow proper processes and policies. The GSA OIG report made 2 concerning claims. First, the report claims that GSA Office of Digital Infrastructure Technologies employees misled a contracting officer with, quote, egregiously flawed information, unquote, and that led to the purchase of 150 Chinese-made video conference cameras. GSA has the responsibility to explain how this error happened and what changes have been implemented to prevent that mistake from happening again. Second, the report claims that GSA failed, I'm almost done, to address the camera's known security vulnerabilities. Security concerns about Chinese-made products are not new. As stewards of federal IT procurement government-wide, GSA especially must show preeminent expertise and diligence in buying the right IT to ensure government works and is secured. While GSA has made the case they've not violated any laws, the American people deserve to know why they piloted products that would not have complied with the Trade Agreements Act if they were bought at the amount necessary to serve the full organization, why GSA believed dividing the acquisition into multiple purchases would fall below the TAA threshold, and why IDT said there were no TAA-compliant options when the GSA OIG found compliant options in abundance. Today, GSA must once again begin the work to regain the trust of the American people and of this committee. I look forward to hearing from GSA today about how it will address the problems enumerated in the Inspector General report, and I yield back.